Good afternoon, everyone, from Busch Gardens Williamsburg and their 50th anniversary. 50 years ago today, the park opened for the first time ever, and we are here to celebrate a very special occasion, and that is a brand new roller coaster, the Big Bad Wolf, the Wolf's Revenge.
The lengthy name, but it is essentially the spiritual successor to the old Big Bad Wolf that was an aero-suspended coaster. It was very well loved. Everyone was very sad when it went away. So it makes sense that, like, for the 50th anniversary, they kind of like reinvent a classic, right? So I think this is a cool way to pay homage. This one is gonna have like a similar idea where you're kind of swinging past the scenery, kind of like you did on the original Big Bad Wolf, but with a totally different take by B&M, so it should be interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. So in case you're unfamiliar, this is the same ride type as Phoenix Rising down at Busch Gardens Tampa, so that'd make this the sister coaster, but this is gonna be a much longer ride. There are actually 2 lift hills, like the original Big Bad Wolf, and even it's in a similar plot of land. So the actual replacement for Big Bad Wolf was Verbolten, which is just down the pathway over here. But this is going in the plot of land where Drachen Fire was. This area has sat vacant for many, many years.
Yeah, and there's been a lot of like rumors of like what was gonna happen back there. At one point it was a 300-foot Gigaspire, at one point it was an RMC, and now we have this. So
yeah.
We're gonna see how it is.
Absolutely. So let's head over to their brand new sign and start our look around this upgraded plaza. To the left of Fest House is our brand new entrance sign. And it's important that they have a sign here so people know where to go, because the actual entrance is gonna be tucked back here to the left in an area that guests used to not be able to access. But this sign looks great. I love the font that they went with. The eyes here are gonna be especially impressive at night because they actually glow red. You can see some claw marks right over here. One of my favorite details right here. Look at the fencing. They're little wolf cutouts. That's incredible. And we'll keep walking over to our upgraded plaza. So you can see the left side of Fest House over here. To the left is Das Sleeping Land Inn, and there are no vacancies. So this is the other side of the bumper car building that they've themed up. It looks very nice. We have some barrels. There's like a big keg right over here. And a big centerpiece right here. This is a bell tower. And here is our arch that'll lead you to the attraction.
Here it is. Here's our pathway.
Yeah.
So, if I remember correctly, this was used as a picnic area for a while, wasn't it?
Yes, a picnic area, and during Halloween, there was a haunted house back here.
The witch is something.
Yes, it was actually in the same place as where our station is. It used to be the station for Drachen Fire, and then it was a haunted house, and now it is the station for Big Bad Wolf.
And right now we can get our first glimpse of the ride. There it is.
This definitely is strange, though, walking along this pathway. It's very, very quiet. No music or anything, but we do have another bell tower leading up to the attraction.
Oh, I found the entrance.
And yeah, there it is.
Yeah, it's interesting because like one of my biggest concerns about this ride is that it is very far back, and because it's not super tall, it's not like it's like, you know, Apollo's Chariot where you can see it from everywhere. It's just 200 feet tall, right? Like this is a smaller ride, so like it's gonna be on like a need-to-know basis. Like, oh, did you know there's a roller coaster back there? Unless there's like someone directing everybody, like, hey, go check this out.
Yeah, consult the park map, people. So the first thing you get to is the photo booth.
And a gift shop, of course. And confirmed, this is now becoming the beast. Become the beast.
Lots of merchandise here. There you can see kids' shirts for the Big Bad Wolf. They also have it in adult sizes. Tons of mugs. There's another kid's shirt. Here's the grown one. We have a flag. Oh, wow.
Check this out, the best part. This is what's really big about the Bad Wolf.
Oh my gosh. His tail is huge.
This could be really fun to share with your cat.
They also have mini building blocks here that looks like the lead car. That's awesome. There's some smaller tails, more t-shirts. Yeah, these look really, really nice. To the right of the plaza, we have some big flags over here, and there's our big entrance sign.
This is a nice one. Yeah, I feel like this plaza looks very like wide and open, which is good. Like, because obviously when they're advertising for people to come back here because it's brand new, it could get very densely like crowded, but this doesn't feel like it'd be that bad.
Yeah, and I think one thing that also like occurred to me is, you know, by opening up this area, it also opens up the opportunities if they want to expand this section, add even another ride back here one day, and I think they do have the room for it. Like every coaster here at Busch Williamsburg, they do have lockers outside the front. I always recommend getting the movable locker, so then that way you can just like keep passenger items from attraction to attraction, and usually that ends up being a lot more affordable if you're planning on doing a ton of stuff. So the height requirement for this attraction is 42 inches. That is if you're riding with a supervising companion. If you're riding alone, you have to be at least 48 inches. And Sarah right here, she might be a little too tall to ride. You can't exceed 77 inches.
I just only get a little bit over 48. So.
Wow.
How tall is 77? What would that be? 6'5"?
6'5". And of course, there is a test seat out front, so this is going to be the exact same as Phoenix Rising, I believe.
I forgot how deep the seat is.
Yeah. I believe it's also the same lap
like
bar
Penguin Trek.
configuration as Penguin Trek. Exactly. If you have Quick Queue or ADA, you're going to go around to the left of the lift hill up here, which I believe is also the exit, and that's how you can access the attraction. You get some nice views of the lift hill and the first drop, because remember, there are 2 on this ride. Here's our walkway that leads you into the station. This is cool. Last time I was in here, it was for a haunted house, and the last time people rode a roller coaster was literally Drachen Fire. That's insane.
That's been closed for a very long time, too. I don't remember what year, but I know it's been a long time.
Look at the station. They've dressed up with barrels, chandeliers, fans, because circulation is important. And here's our train. There are 2 trains on this roller coaster, and that is another big difference between this and Phoenix Rising. Hey, and off we go. This is our first time on the Big Bad Wolf, the Wolf's Revenge, here in the front row. Look at this.
I know, this is so cool. So, I think when I was a kid, I got to ride the original Big Bad Wolf.
You think, but you don't remember.
I think, but I don't know for sure. I was little.
I definitely did, and I remember liking it. It was one of my first big coasters, so this is pretty cool. We got a view of our Bolton over here, too.
Oh, hey.
All right, let's see how this is.
Woo!
That's over the maintenance area.
Nice, nice. I love all the swooping.
Whoa, here, over the train.
Woo!
All right, we're entering the village. Woo. Drachen Fire.
Oh, that's awesome.
Whoa, oh, that's a near miss.
That's cool.
Look at the stables.
There's so many props.
That's a lot of theming.
I know.
Whoa. Going straight into the lift hill.
I know, I thought you were going to slow down more.
Yeah, we had a max speed of 40 miles per hour on this ride. That's just over 2,500 feet of track. Whoa, look at all the spikes. Whoa. Oh, the beer!
There's so much beer!
Look at the picnic tables!
What a waste! What a waste!
Woo!
Okay, can we just talk?
The audio?
Okay, so can we acknowledge that that would be such a dope spot for a beer garden? Like right there.
I don't know the practicality of that, but
it isn't. But it gave me that when I saw all the beers. I'm like, wait a minute.
that was smart theming.
Oh yeah.
They're really like leaning into it. I appreciate it. That was actually better than I expected.
That was That was fun.
No, that was actually pretty good.
That's the better of the two.
I definitely like that more than Phoenix Rising for sure.
And it's like way longer.
Yeah, it's way longer. No, that was really cool actually. So we went around again, and we did the back row, and I stand by what I said after the first ride. It did exceed my expectations.
Yeah, well, you know, all we had to compare it to was Phoenix Rising, and I think that the length of this one really lets the ride shine. Like, Phoenix Rising is pretty short, and it had a small area of land to work with, whereas this had, like, essentially unlimited land to work with, and they made a pretty decently long ride back here. Even though the footprint isn't huge, there's like a lot of track back there, and I think that, like in this case, I wouldn't always say for rides that longer is always better, but in this case, like with this kind of model, it does help a lot.
Yes, and it also runs better than Phoenix Rising.
It runs a lot
the
better.
first time that I did Phoenix Rising, I think that was one of my big takeaways. I'm like, that's like the roughest B&M in Busch Gardens Tampa, and it's brand new. But here, that was actually running like relatively smooth. I wouldn't say it's like back to maybe how B&M used to be, but it's definitely an improvement. You can tell that like they did something to the trains or the track that is an improvement from Phoenix Rising. So maybe I'm giving props to SeaWorld there, like or the teams at B&M. They definitely have learned something from Phoenix Rising. I don't know what it is. I am not an engineer, but it runs better for sure.
Which is interesting because like maybe my memory is just off, but weren't these kind of being worked on at the same time? And Phoenix Rising just happened to come first.
I'm not 100% sure on it, but it is at this point. They did open less than a year apart.
Yeah.
So it's
it couldn't have been
entirely
too far
possible,
apart, right? I don't know.
It is entirely possible.
Yeah.
But I will say, as much as I do like this more than Phoenix Rising, there are two things I think Phoenix Rising does a little better, and it's just based off of the layout. Like Phoenix Rising has a few more like forceful moments because it's like moments where you're in the valleys and there's just a bit more positive G-forces, and that overbank turn that Phoenix Rising has. There's nothing quite like that on this ride. So those are props to Phoenix Rising. So they each have kind of their strengths, but so maybe this feels a little tamer. Maybe.
Yeah, but again, I think it makes up for it by being longer.
Yeah.
And smoother. I don't really mind it.
I don't think it's a big deal.
I like this though. Like I think it's a nice addition to the park. And like I'll repeat what I've already said. I think it's too far back in the park for being as short as it is. I hope people find it. I hope people go looking for it because like I don't know. Like obviously as roller coaster enthusiast or if you're like a Busch Gardens fan, you're gonna like know that it's here. But if you're just like an average person that doesnn't know it's like a new roller coaster that's an anniversary, yada yada, and you're just like, I can't find it. Whatever. We'll look for something else. Because that's how a lot of people think. It's just like if it's not right there, they're like, whatever.
Right. Well, and I say one big pro for the placement of this attraction is that it actually hops over the train tracks. So if you ride the train, you will know that this attraction exists. So that's is very helpful. And I think this, having the sign that was out front will definitely help bring more guests back here. But I still stand by what I've been saying from the beginning, and that is that you need a tall attraction that pops up above the trees in order to get people to from far away know that hey, there's something back there we gotta go do. So maybe now that they're lacking a drop tower, maybe we get a new drop tower back here. Sky Screamer kind of thing. Starflyer would be also really cool. That could fit within the German
Something
area.
Tall.
Yeah.
Something tall.
If it's not going to be a roller coaster, then a tall flat. Here, now that you have the room for it, for sure, that would work. That'd be a nice complement, right next door to a tame, family coaster. You have a big, tall, tower ride of some sort. And we got a very special guest here with us, Mike Collins from the original theme park podcast, Coaster Radio.
I like you said the tagline. I like that. That's cool.
Hey, and we got to give you guys a shout out. We've been listening to you for a very long time. You guys do great work. If you haven't been listening, you got to go check out Coaster Radio.
Thank you. You know what's funny? When we started the show, I had totally black hair. And now look, it's gray from all the years of podcasting.
How many years have you been doing it?
20 now. This is 20. So just like Busch Gardens today is celebrating 50 years, we've been doing Coaster Radio 20. Which is shocking. I thought we'd do it for a month, and then, 20 years, so.
That is awesome. So you got to ride Big Bad Wolf. What do you think?
I liked it. Now, I got to say, I've been coming to Busch Gardens all my life. So I don't want to, it's 50 years of Busch Gardens. I'm 50 years old, too, so, it's kind of funny. So I've been here all my life. Yeah, so I like this roller coaster. I've got a daughter who is 7, and she meets the height requirement. Perfect for her. I think this is going to be her first kind of big girl roller coaster. But the thing I like about it is it's got some thrills too. But here's the best part about it. I don't know if you remember the old Big Bad Wolf back in the day, 80s and 90s and early 2000s. It went through the village and stuff, but just for a little bit. Here, they've got a ton of village sections, including my favorite at the end, a big celebration after the wolf has been defeated. And there's tons of picnic tables with full steins of beer down there. That's so great. So I love it. I think they've done a fantastic job. This is going to have some lines, man. And there it goes right behind us. So the trains are cool. They're comfortable. But it's actually surprisingly thrilling. It's actually really, really good, but not so thrilling. It's going to make it to where, families can't ride. And I think that's the best part about it.
Absolutely. Cool. Well, thank you. It was great to see you. Glad you enjoyed the ride.
Yeah.
Attention riders, there will be a slight delay in the completion of your ride. Please remain seated with your hands, arms and legs inside the train.
We might be the first group of people, us and all of our fellow riders here, to ever stop here on this lift hill while operational. So, you know, in the off chance that we actually get to evac this thing and walk down the lift, like, that'd be cool.
Yeah, but you know, I would say this is a comfortable position to get stuck in. You are here on lift 2, and like we're just, you know, we're at a nice incline. The sun actually feels kind of nice here because we have a breeze. You can look
if you're
back
in the front row, you're probably boiling.
Oh yeah, but you can see like the village behind us and the lift hill. It's not that bad. All right, we just wrapped up the media preview for Big Bad Wolf. They are letting members ride tonight. So the first ride for most people will actually be a night ride, which is pretty cool. So we're gonna see if we can catch that a bit later on. But overall, I think, you know, of the 3 rides that we got on the coaster, like I said, I liked it more than I thought I would.
Me too.
And,
I think I like the back.
You do?
I think so.
the front was good for the
Visually,
views, though.
yes.
It was. Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Yes.
So they're doing some 50th anniversary like presentations later on. There's going to be some different things around the park that we're going to go take a look at. So we'll show you a little bit of that, and then hopefully we'll be able to come back here to wrap things up at the end of the night. Just want to give a quick shout out to the original Isle of Burke, Land of the Dragons. Land of the Dragons walked so Isle of Burke could run. Over here in Scotland, I definitely don't remember seeing this before. This is really cool. Serpent lime spritz. I wonder if this is something that they're serving here as part of their food and wine. My guess is yes. That's a beautiful design though. And here in England, there it is. The big 50th anniversary sign here on the clock tower. It is very busy today. Today is a Friday. There are a ton of school groups. This place is like a zoo. I'm also seeing a bunch of walk-around characters. Hey!
I'm so sorry. I get a little easily started.
Oh my gosh. I thought that was a real bunny. So next on the festivities is over here in the Globe Theater. They're doing a presentation about the 50th anniversary. I'm assuming the park president will be out, maybe some bits and pieces about their history. Not really sure. We're gonna be finding out along with you guys.
Maybe something about their future.
That'd be awesome, but probably not because they're about
Probably
to open up a new ride.
Yeah, you're probably right, but that would be cool.
Thank you so much for coming out. Just a momentous occasion for the park. I remember being here for the 40th in a different role, but hard to believe that the decade flies by. But just thank you for coming and celebrating with us. You know, tonight's presentation will look back at the past 5 decades of park history.
This is the old country, now being built by Busch Gardens in Williamsburg, Virginia, near Washington, D.C. In this book, we'll help you plan a visit this spring when the old country opens.
You know, think about it sold as your opportunity to come to Europe on this side of the Atlantic. I thought was really clever, but and $7. We'll send that request in. But wanted to dive into the park's opening. Wanted to share how the park, you know, really came to be. So 3,000 acres of land was purchased from Colonial Williamsburg Foundation in 1969 to develop a brewery, King's Mill, and Busch Gardens. And interestingly enough, as a condition of the sale, Busch Gardens could not use any early American theme, which is how the European theming came to be. The park was officially announced in June of 1973 and construction began. It opened, as the gentleman said there, as the Old Country, designed around villages celebrating the spirit of European villages from which early American settlers came. So this is the original park map as we opened back in 1975. What you notice probably the most is there's some countries from today that aren't there. So Oktoberfest did not exist when the park opened. Italy did not. Festa Italia, the whole Pompeii area, everything ended at Rheinfeld. And then in 1984, last but not least, we opened the Big Bad Wolf. And interesting history there. Many of you might know this, maybe not, but Vincent Price was the celebrity on hand to open the grand opening ceremonies. Unfortunately, the ride had a, we'll just say, malfunction. function and did not open on their media day, and Vincent Price unfortunately could not ride. So they got in the cars, took a bunch of photos, did photo ops, but unfortunately it took several weeks to get the ride going. And then Drachen Fire in 1992. So another celebrity sighting. Anybody? Yes. Dana Carvey, dedication ceremony. Also did not run when he was there. That's a true story. And he offered to do stand-up to fill in time. So this is Alpengeist, just as it was going in. And then we added 3 thrill rides during this time. So Griffin, 2007. Mock Tower in 2011. Nothing? Okay. In the last decade, we have added Tempesto, Invader, Finnegan's Flyer, Pantheon, Dark Coaster, relaunched Loch Ness, and now, of course, Big Bad Wolves, the Wolf's Revenge.
I feel a lot of pride in Busch right now.
Yeah, I feel like, let's go, Busch Gardens.
I'm high on Busch Gardens right
Yeah.
now. Like, yes,
That was
let's go.
cool. That was really, really cool. I haven't seen a presentation like that done at a park, at least in a long time, where they really go like almost year by year through past attractions, current attractions. And
Well, 50 years is a big deal, you know? And like, some parks go like the more flashy route, and then some go the more like historic, nostalgic route. And I feel like they chose that one.
yeah, this was like a one-time presentation, just come out on our 50th anniversary, the physical day, and so you have fans in there who have been coming here for a long time.
Oh,
At
people
one-
cheered for every
Yeah.
single thing that they said. I was like,
At one point, the park president asked who was here on opening day in 1975, and there were a couple people that raised their hands, and that is incredible.
there were people who, like, they honored people who had been working for the company for a long time, and there were people that were on their 47th year.
So they only missed 3.
Yeah, and it's probably because they were too young.
Yeah,
That's
that's
like crazy.
so cool. So yeah, you can just tell that there's a lot of love that goes into this place, and I think that was just very, very apparent in the presentation. So yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed that. So yeah, let's head back towards Big Bad Wolf, and it's starting to get a little dark, so maybe we can catch that night ride. So on our way to Big Bad Wolf, we're walking through Da Vinci Gardens, and I feel like this is just important to mention because this whole area is it's gone through a lot of changes in the past couple of years. So Da Vinci's Cradle is no longer in this area. Yeah, so like that's an attraction that I've been saying was a great supporting cast in Busch Gardens Williamsburg, and it'd be nice to see a replacement. I think a Nebulous would be pretty awesome.
I think that would look great right there.
Yeah, it would be very, very cool. But supposedly, the next attraction coming to Busch Gardens Williamsburg will have its entrance right in this area and actually extend down towards Loch Ness Monster. And that is a revitalization of Le Mans that was talked about in Kevin's speech.
Yeah, that was an opening day attraction, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
That'd be cool to bring that back.
It would be. It was removed for Griffin. So yeah, supposedly there's gonna be like an entrance right over here. There'd be like a bridge that would take you to the ride, and that would.
Can it connect to that area then somehow?
I don't think so. I think it would just be for that ride. But that'd be nice to see like the return of like antique cars in this park. It could look really good if done well.
All together, let me hear you sing this.
Well, that's incredible looking.
That looks amazing.
That is incredible. They did a great job. And I now present the line for Big Bad Wolf, the Wolf's Revenge. Everyone and their mother is here to ride this ride. Wow. So we're looking at a full queue, and then all the way out here. It's so long.
It is positively packed right now. Everybody wants to see a little glimpse of the biggest, baddest wolf in town.
And there's a reason that we're going to be able to ride at all, and it's not because of the length of this line. It's actually because when we got stuck on it earlier, they gave us a priority pass. So we're very grateful.
Have a full run through. So.
Yes.
Yay! All right, let's do that.
That was great. So we sat in the front row. So we got the full experience of a night ride, and the eyes on the wolf light up, so it actually illuminates just the small section of track ahead of you. But then the rest of it is mostly dark until you get to the village, and then the village is all like lit up with this like ambient lighting, and so like it was a little bit of everything.
It's such a vibe back there.
Yeah.
That was awesome. I really, because like, you know, some parks take the option of kind of putting a bunch of lights on the track, right? This was like, let's keep it dark and just light up our props, and I think that worked perfectly.
Yeah, I actually highly recommend this as a night ride here at Busch Gardens Williamsburg.
It's really dark back there.
Yeah, because think about it, there's not much else here. The closest other attraction is Verbolten. If you've done that at night, you know that's a great night ride. So now it's even darker than Verbolten.
Verbolten's still probably my favorite night ride. This is probably number 2 now.
Yeah, that was strong.
Apollo's
In front has some good speed, some good moments with it. The audio, you can clearly hear it. It works with like the bells ringing, and then like at one point you hear a wolf howling, and then towards the end of the ride it's like the happy like German, like you escaped the wolf or something like that.
Yeah, it was great, and it's like, you know, you have to compare it to the sister park that got a very similar type of ride. And like their onboard audio was either like very quiet or not really working. So I think for whatever reason this one is operating better.
Now, comparing it to the original Big Bad Wolf, I know it's a little different because obviously the ride system is different, but that is frankly what they're paying homage to. So the comparison is gonna be made. It is not as dynamic as the original Big Bad Wolf because you had the swinging. That being said, I think the presentation of this might be even stronger because you still have the village effect. But now you have the onboard audio, which the original did not have, and that is strong. Like this attraction works so well with the music. That was something I didn't even realize was going to be a part of the experience. But after doing it with that, I'm like, I am so glad that is there.
Yeah, I really like that too. The whole like vibe, the whole ambiance that this ride has around it is awesome.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan, and like I know that people have like a really strong connection to the original. Like there's always going to be a comparison. No one is ever satisfied. It's never as good as the original. But like I think this is fantastic. I think they did a great job. And this is coming from someone who walked in being skeptical, and I'm like, okay, you know what? I was wrong.
Just to be transparent, I walked in thinking that I was going to be let down by this attraction. I just did. My expectations, to be frank, were not super high.
But it's not because of the park. It was because of the type of ride. And, we weren't, like, overly in love with Phoenix Rising just because of the way it rode.
Yeah.
But that was not a problem here.
But I was completely fine with how it rode. I think they dressed it up beautifully.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that, yeah, it fits nicely here in Busch Gardens. I've been hearing people's reactions as they've been
Everyone
getting off.
loves it.
Reactions are high, and so like that's a tough thing to do when you are dealing with something that is nostalgic. It's like, how do you follow up something that like a lot of the people who are riding this, they rode the original Big Bad Wolf. Sure, the kids, this will be their ride that they will one day become nostalgic for. But you have a whole demographic of people that you're trying to please, and it sounds like they're doing that.
They did a good job. It can be very hit or miss with homage attractions, but they did a great job with this one. Happy birthday, Busch! What a way to celebrate.
This is by far the best piece of merchandise that they sell here. Original track piece of Big Bad Wolf. There is a keychain. You can own a piece of the ride. That's so cool. Oh my gosh, that's it. So that's like a piece of track.
Pieces 1 through 10 are $150. Pieces 11 through 190 are $100.
Well, would you look at that? By the time this comes out, they'll probably be gone.
They are definitely going to go fast, that's for sure.
It was great.
Night ride, send it. Dude, as we're leaving, the line has gotten longer. It now extends all the way out the entrance.
3-hour wait.
Look at this. An employee just told us it's a 3-hour line. Holy crap. It wraps around the building. It still goes. For reference, there's the sign. And this is Fest House. This is the end of the line. Holy crap. That is insane. So that does it for the first day of Big Bad Wolf, The Wolf's Revenge. That is the longest line is probably ever gonna get. And I'm just floored that one, that many people came out for this and that people were willing to wait 3 hours for it. Like, it's a good ride, but 3 hours is a long time, man.
Well, it's a double whammy, right? It's a new roller coaster, which is already a reason to come out, but it's also like an homage coaster to something that people loved for so long. Like, that's like 2 big reasons to come out, which means you have like double the amount of people, right? Like, that's a big deal.
Yeah. Wow. That is wild.
And the fireworks display was awesome. I know we've already mentioned it, but happy birthday to Busch Gardens.
Happy
It's
birthday
amazing.
to Busch Gardens.
Yeah, you know what I don't think I knew? That Tampa was older.
Yeah.
I don't think
Yep.
I knew that. This always felt more like classic and older, like just the vibe, I guess. So I just always assumed. I guess I was wrong.
Yeah, no, it's super cool. But bottom line, I do recommend coming out here to take a ride on Big Bad Wolf, The Wolf's Revenge. I would probably not recommend waiting 3 hours for it. Like,
I
it's
don't want to
good,
wait 3
but
hours for anything.
3 hours is a very, very long time. Like, while this is all going on, we've been seeing like, oh, Ministry of Magic at Epic Universe is now on standby instead of virtual queue, and like, that's getting a 3 hour line.
Honestly,
like,
I'd might do that.
that's a long time to wait for that ride. Like, you know, we say that, but we also wait 3 hours for Flash Vertical Velocity on opening day.
But we didn't mean to.
That was an
Okay,
accident.
We didn't mean to.
Didn't mean to. Yeah.
Pay attention.
Anyways, we hope that you guys enjoyed this video.
We had a great day.
That was a good
so
day.
fun.
Yeah. Happiest of birthdays to Busch Gardens. Congratulations on the new roller coaster. Thank you so much for having us. And we hope that you guys get to experience it very soon. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.